Hi, we're doing the integumentary system. So to start, the skin is composed of many things, including blood vessels, nerves, sensory receptors, sweat and oil glands, and other derivatives such as hair and nails.
The integumentary system also contains different functions. Its main function is protection. They also have chemical barriers, which includes the acid mantle, which controls low pH that selects against bacteria. There's also physical and mechanical barriers, then biological barriers, the immune responses initiated in the skin, antigen presentation to lymphocytes, and then the body temperature regulation of the skin.
Dermis is the outermost layer. It contains mostly epithelial cells and it's non-vascular. It contains thick keratinized stratified squamous epithelium consisting of 4 cell types and 5 layers. The main cell type is keratinocytes, which produce keratin, and they're the primary cell of the epidermis. They arise in the stratum basal. They are pushed to surface as continuously mitotic cells reproduce. The keratin is produced as cells migrate, cells connected by desmosomes, and at the surface, cells are dead keratin-filled plasma membrane. The epidermis is the outermost layer. It contains mostly epithelial cells, and it is non-vascular. The epidermis contains thick, keratinized stratified squamous epithelium consisting of 4 cell types and 5 layers. The primary cell types in the epidermis are keratinocytes, and they produce keratin, which is the primary cell of the epidermis. They arise in the stratum basal layer, and they are pushed to surface as continuously mitotic cells reproduce. The keratin is produced as cells migrate, and the cells connected by desmosomes. And at the surface, the cells are dead keratin-filled plasma membrane.
50 questions, 2 of them being recorded.
Melanocytes are the second cell type found, and they produce the pigment melanin. They're in the stratum basal and have processes that contact all the keratinocytes. They transfer melanin to keratinocytes, and the melanin accumulates near the cell's apical surface to shield the nucleus from UV rays. The third type of cell are Merkel cells. They are associated with sensory nerve endings, and they form the Merkel disc. Langerhans cells, or epidermal dendritic cells, are made in bone marrow and migrate to the epidermis. They form a continuous network, and they function as macrophage cells.
So it's really only 25% material, and then eventually
Go.
The epidermis also contains 5 layers as well, starting from deep to superficial, superficial being towards the top of the skin. So it starts with the stratum basal, which is the deepest layer. This contains a single layer of mitotically active cells and gives rise to keratinocytes, and it includes melanocytes and Merkel cells. The second layer is the stratum spinosum. It's a web-like network of cells formed by intermediate filaments attached to the desmosomes. It's comprised also of keratinocytes and includes melanin granules and Langerhans cells.
Exactly.
The third cell, or third layer, is the stratum granosum. This contains thick 3 to 5 cell layers. Their flattened nuclei and organelles are lost also. Let's see, cells are more resistant to destruction also. In the fourth layer, the stratum luteum contains a few rows of clear, flattened, dead keratinocytes, and the layer only occurs in thick skin, which you can find over here. Thick skin can be found in the palms and the soles of the feet.
Did you see my snap from my mom dancing and her doing ballet moves to the raunchiest?
The fifth layer is the stratum corneum, also known as the horny
I
layer.
missed like her booty dancing first.
It contains
but she was sitting there.
it's the outermost layer. It contains most of the epidermis thickness. It contains 20 to 30 cell layers thick,
and leggings, but for her, she does not wear it outside.
and its cornified or horny cells remains of cells from this thick layer.
The dermis is the fibrous connective tissue, and it is vascular. The dermis is a strong, flexible tissue layer, and it contains many types of cells, including fibroblasts, macrophages, mast cells, and WBCs. The nervous fibers are with sensory receptors. They contain blood vessels, hair follicles, sweat glands, and layers. Two of the layers include the papillary layer and the reticular layer. The papillary layer is thin and superficial. It has connective tissue with blood vessels. The dermal papillae is the superficial layer, and it is project into the epidermal layer, include capillary beds, and the mesenter's corpus. The reticular layer is most of the dermis. It is dense, irregular connective tissue. It contains strong collagen fibers, which are strength and resiliency and hydration, and it contains elastin fibers, which stretch and recoil.
Another subcategory of the skin is pigments. There are three main pigments of the skin. The first one is melanin. This ranges in color from yellow to reddish brown to black. Because of racial differences, it's only really the amount and persistence of melanin in keratinocytes. Melanocytes are stimulated by sunlight and protects DNA from UV light. Another one is carotene. This is the pigment that goes from yellow to orange. It accumulates in the stratum corneum and fatty tissue of the hypodermis, and it's obvious in the palms and soles. Another one is hemoglobin. This is persistent in red blood cells. It has a reddish hue through transparent skin of Caucasians that lack melanin. Another one is cyanosis. This is the deoxygenated blood that gives the skin a blue appearance.
So bad. I literally printed.
Another thing that can affect skin color are emotional and disease states. This can be called redness of the skin, also called erythema. This is caused from embarrassment, fever, hypertension, inflammation, and also allergic reactions. Pallor can be another one. This is the paleness of the skin, and it can be caused by emotional stress, anemia, and low blood pressure. Jaundice is another one. This can be caused by a liver disorder, which is bile pigments in blood and deposited in body tissue. Another one is bruises. This is caused by blood escaping the circulatory system, and it forms a hematoma.
The skin contains many glands. One of the primary glands, or the dominant one found in the body, are the sweat glands, also called the eccrine glands. Those are coiled and tubular, and they appear on the palms and the soles of your feet, also where thick skin is found. The duct opens to pore on the surface. It includes hypotonic secretion. It is regulated by sympathetic NS, and it is involuntary. One of the second main types of glands is an apocrine gland. These are large ducts, and they empty into your hair follicles. They are often found in your armpit or axillary regions and anogenital areas. They interact with skin bacteria, resulting in odor. A third type of gland are the ceruminous glands, which are modified apocrine glands, and they are found in the ear canal, and they produce earwax. And a fourth type of gland found in the body, major gland found in the skin, are the sebaceous glands, which secrete sebum. They include holocrine, and they accumulate lipids until they burst. There is slow water loss when humidity is low. They soften your hair, and they are bactericidal. They are stimulated by androgens.
But I don't like going with her.
There are three main different types of skin cancer. The first one would be called basal cell carcinoma. This one's the most common, and it's caused by too much sun exposure or if you're spending too much time in the tanning beds. The second one is called squamous cell carcinoma. This one is caused by the flat, thin squamous cells on the outer layer of your skin develops the errors in their DNA. Ordinarily, new cells can push older cells towards your skin surface, and the older cells die and are split off. But the DNA errors disrupt the orderly pattern, causing cells to grow out of control, with squamous cell carcinoma out of the skin as a result. The third type of skin cancer is called melanoma. This is the third type of skin cancer is called malignant melanoma. As with all cancers, research is ongoing on the causes of melanoma, but they say keep away from harmful UV rays, and it's for the best because they think that that's the main cause of the melanoma. Whenever looking for symptoms and signs of different kinds of skin cancer, always follow the ABCDE rule. A stands for asymmetry, which is not equal. B stands for border irregularity. C stands for color. Watch out for different colors. That's a main sign. D stands for diameter. It should be, you should look out for over 6 millimeters of skin. And then E stands for elevation. Watch if it's elevated off the skin.
There are three major types of burns that can occur to the skin. The first-degree burn is the least painful, and it results in redness and damage to the epidermis. The second-degree burns are more severe, which burn through the epidermis and cause major blistering of the skin. The third-degree burns are the worst type of burns imaginable, and they are full-thickness burns which completely destroy the epidermis. The rule of nines divides the body into different percentages. For the anterior and posterior head and neck, there is 9%. For the anterior and posterior upper limbs, there's 18%. For the anterior and posterior trunk, there is 36%.